But during his release, he went right back to crime. Within that car was 100 pounds of marijuana, and Perico considered that his. Perico is connected to cartels who was involved in the extortion of a distribution clinic for marijuana. We have that video too, folks. My name is Enriquez, and you are watching Uncensored. Periquito, Periquito. Yeah, I kind of missed him, so I brought him back. And you know what? We have so much on Perico. And for the non-Spanish speaking out there, Perico means parrot, right? But it also has a slang term for a white substance that people snort up their nose. Perico Rocha, his real name is Ralph Guy Rocha, is a Mexican Mafia member. He was indicted in 1995 in the case of United States versus Alex Aguirre et al. That was the first 1995 RICO indictment, the first time the FBI had ever used RICO against the Mexican Mafia. In that case, about 13 Mexican Mafia members were indicted and sent to federal prison. Fortunately for Perico, he was released. But during his release, Perico had the I can't help it, and he went right back to crime. He went right back to crime. In fact, in one case, he extorted a legitimate business. The backstory is this: somebody stole a car that belonged to an associate of Perico. In other words, a camarada. Within that car was 100 pounds of marijuana, and Perico considered that his. So he went after the guy. They found out who it was, they went after him, and they encountered his sister. His sister was a legitimate business owner, and I'm going to run you a little bit of that call right now where he actually extorts the sister for $30,000. And this is in this call, he free and clear got $30,000 cash. And the backstory on this is the girl went to law enforcement and told them about it, but they didn't do anything. They didn't do anything about it. And so Perico went back. He went back for a second bite after clearing $30K free and clear. And the product wasn't even his. He was just collecting because those guys were flying under his umbrella. So he got greedy, right? This is Perico Rocha. Unbeknownst to him, the woman that he was extorting, the woman that he already extorted $30,000 cash from, went and talked to Los Angeles Sheriff's Department.
Yes?
How are you doing?
Doing good.
Where are we at?
I mean, to be honest, like I told you, I mean, you took everything that we had. We don't have any more money. I mean, we got into a big old fight with him, and, you know, it's just, you can't talk to him. He's so stubborn, and he's like, you don't have to worry about me. I'm on my own. You know, but I'm afraid.
So, Perico hit her for 30K cash, and unbeknownst to him, she went to my good buddy, Francis Hardiman. That is Francis Hardiman right there. LASD homicide. At the time, he was working major crimes, and he picked up the case. He wired the girl up and sent her back. And that's a snippet of recording that you hear right there. He goes back and he attempts to extort her for a second bite. And what does Francis do? He arrests him. And those are the debrief videos you saw that I ran in previous episodes. That's the saga of Ralph Perico Rocha. He debriefs. He decides he's done. Francis Hardiman convinces him to flip. They bring in the ATF, and he begins working with the ATF as an embedded source, as a confidential informant for the ATF and Los Angeles Sheriff's Department. And he does work. I mean, Perico puts it down. He's bringing in people to a location that he has. He has a warehouse leased or owned by the ATF, and he has a bunch of things in there. I'm going to show you some clips from that just to show you the setup and how he got everybody at ease. Perico acted as if he had a business at a warehouse, and he would conduct all meetings there. Meetings with everybody. We're talking Mongols, Armenian Mafia, cartel guys, Mexican Mafia members, associates, women. And I'm going to show you each of those videos, believe me. And we're going to show you this one right now. But let me introduce who's going to be in it. None other than Manuel Cricket Jackson. He's a federal Mexican Mafia member. He was made in the feds. Close associate of Champ Reynoso, the head commissioner, who was alive probably about 5 years ago. He's deceased now. But he's got a really distinct big mustache, right? And he always wears a Michigan baseball hat. You'll be able to identify him in the video very easily, and you'll be able to identify Perico Rocha. So remember, these are federal Mexican Mafia members on the streets. Perico's called a meeting at his warehouse, and they're going to discuss mob business. On the streets, Perico's called a meeting at his warehouse, and they're going to discuss mob business. So here's Perico on the right with the red circle around his face. He looks angry there, doesn't he? And the guy in the middle is Thomas T. Bug Moreno, and the guy on the left is Black Bob Ramirez, who is deceased. Both T. Bug and Perico are still alive. So let's take a peek within the warehouse. We're gonna see the setup, what everybody comes into. All these people are unawares. They're coming into a place that's wired for sound. They got high resolution video cameras in there as well. Nobody even suspects it. They might even think that the cameras could even be regular security cameras. Everybody's going to think that, right? Because it's a business and every business has security cameras and nobody would be suspicious. But the audio in the warehouse proper sucks. That sucks. The best audio is recorded in the office. We're going to get to that. But here is a clip of Perico and Cricket walking into the warehouse. Here they come. They're coming into the warehouse warehouse proper. Cricket Jackson is to the right, wearing the back brace. Perico Rocha is to the left, wearing the greenish colored sweater and brown cap. One of the tricks that Perico uses is anybody that comes into the warehouse, he allows them to go through all of his merchandise and pick items for their kids, their wives, their family, the home. And you'll see people walking out with boxes of goods, right? So it's like hey, you guys want something for your kids? You guys want something for your wife? You want something for the house? And he lets them go through all these boxes. It's kind of a distraction thing, right? And it works really well because he's got a ton of stuff in there. That's Cricket Jackson picking up a box to fill up with goods. And Cricket Jackson's just going to peruse. I mean, everybody loves free, right? Everybody loves free. So he's looking around and he's going to grab some free stuff. In fact, he's going to fill up 2 boxes, right? They are having conversation here, but the audio's terrible. So let's go to a videotape where you can see them enter from a lateral camera. This is them entering the warehouse, and you could hear them converse. So you'll notice the audio's horrible in this. You could hear them. I mean, if you put on headphones, you could make it out. But we're not going to do that. We are not going to do that. We're not going to take it to the... If that's all I had, then I would play that, right? And this is only a couple minutes anyways. It's preamble to the meeting, right? And what they're discussing is they're talking about cartel members. And that's a picture with Perico in the red circle sitting down with La Familia Michoacana, or Los Caballeros Templarios. This is the Michoacan cartel, and he's negotiating with them. We have that video too, folks. Never fear, we got it. But this is what they're going to discuss, right? These individuals here. And this is from a case called Operation La Jala that involved Fox Tapia and a bunch of brothers, right? Where they made an agreement with a bunch of different organizations and they started moving weight, like real weight. So let's go to the actual video of the meeting within the conference room at Perico's warehouse. Remember, this is novel stuff right here. This is novel stuff. It was done in 1995 when the FBI set up hotel meetings with Mexican Mafia members, and Chuco Castro was cooperating, but not to this degree. These are high resolution color cameras, and they're picking up everything. They got mics everywhere. This whole place is wired up. It's all wired up. So here we go.
You know what we're gonna do with these. I'm thinking just roll up to their pad. Okay. Sometimes the police just roll up to their fucking pad, knock on the door, and they'll open it. They will be. So yeah, we'll be like, hey, what the fuck? What's up, dude? You know what I mean?
So you heard Perico say, I say we just roll up to their pad. The cartel guys are a little hesitant, but the Mexican Mafia knows where they live. And the Mexican Mafia wants them to know that they know where they live. And this is a tactic of intimidation here. This is exactly what this is. You're going to hear Perico discuss it. Perico sitting on the left of the video and Cricket Jackson sitting on the right. Looks like he's wearing suspenders, but it's actually a back brace. It appears that he just came from work and he met Perico after work.
I'm gonna piss all over their pants. That's what we need to do. Or better yet, even instead of doing that, get a group of homies, like, 4 or 5 of them, send them to their pad, let them knock on the door and say, hey, homeboys need a number for you. Yeah, we kind of all right. But let them know that we send homeboys there now, we know where you live, dude. Send them to both of their pads. You know what I mean? Freddie and Hugo's pads. Send them there to say, oh, homeboys need a number for you. Or here's a number for them, you need to get at them on there. Get them going.
So that is no small thing right there. That's Perico telling Cricket, like, we're going to send like 4 or 5 homeboys to their pad, their house. And we're going to tell them that the cartels need a number to contact you. Or here's their number, contact them. Because there's obviously some lack of communication going on here. This is early on in the arrangement between the cartels and the Mexican Mafia. and they're looking at ways to show them, like, hey, don't play with us. You respond to us and you communicate with us.
Yeah, because that shit was hot already. Freddie said that he had seen a truck. I believe it is too, man. These motherfuckers are especially where they do Broncos.
The Freddie they're speaking of is Freddie Montoya. Freddie Montoya is a Mexican Mafia member from Richmond, California. He's no longer any good, but during this period, he actually went to Mexico to meet with cartel members, and so did Perico. They're going to discuss that in all these videos. But we're doing it incrementally, folks. We're doing it incrementally. So they're talking about Freddie Montoya right now.
You got me. And they fuck with him, they go to his pad and he got fucking cops on him. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. All of that on that day. Freddie and Mike get out next month. They get out like in 2 weeks, I think, or something like that. And Mike's off, clear parole, so Freddie.
He's discussing Mike Moreno right now. This is Mike Moreno from one of the previous videos we've shown you. You know who Mike Moreno is.
So yeah, fucked up about it from the Mexico now. Leo's familias over there. And they were beefing with the familia. But when Leo went down there, they had a big old...
The individual they just mentioned is Little One Vega. This is actually the first MS-13 gang member that they made a Mexican Mafia member. He didn't last long in the organization. As soon as he got made, he was stripped of his status. But at this time, he was a Mexican Mafia member.
With all the familias around there, and they settled all their fucking squabbles, so we can see them, but they don't know how to get us in there. Knew the whole fucking, knew the layout, knew where to find Tucan. I met Tucan. Knew where to find Tucan. Knew where all these bosses were that we needed to get in contact, with Gabo and Masloco and them, so we could get up there.
Tucan is one of the major cartel dealers in Mexico, but Perico said right there, I met Tucan. Because Perico went to Mexico to negotiate with the cartel guys. This was a real thing where the cartel came to the Mexican Mafia, had an accord with them, they struck an agreement, and they're doing business together. So this is Perico wanting to send individuals to cartel members' houses so that they communicate with them.
And you gotta imagine, if we were on that side, and we were paying the hand they were paying, they would have smoked us. Yeah, that's what I was going to. Ain't no question. Quick. It was just what you do. Yeah, you're bullshit. Go. And they're waiting on Fox. They think Fox is getting out in March. His date on the, you know, on West here, you can put your name in there. He ain't getting out until November next year. So we got
the individual they're talking about is Fox Tapia. This is the originator of the idea because Fox is connected to cartels in Michoacan, Mexico. He was the one that came up with the idea, but he wanted to run it from jail and it just couldn't be done. They took it away from him, literally. Perico took it out of his hands and started running it because Fox wanted everybody to wait till he got out. Fox may even be out now. He might even be deported, but he had a 2-year sentence that he took a deal on in Operation Dirty Thirds, which is another indictment he got caught on.
The whole fucking year, and they're waiting on it. So either want to wait till they get out, I don't know. I just don't like these motherfuckers teaching they're that untouchable over in the valley. Because you know they're doing shit, ain't no question. That's what I'm telling you. Their homeboys to their pads, to both of their pads. Knock on the door, even if it's their wife or something, it's better to go at night, because they say they're always home at night. So get there about 8 o'clock, 7, 8 at night, just knock on the door. The kids will have, somebody of their family will have, they're people. Yeah, and then let's say they're not there, say they're at the market or something. But still, just leave them a number, say, hey, here's a number. You tell your dad that he needs to call his cousin or something. Yeah. Maybe give it to his wife or whatever. You know what I mean? And even while they're there, say, well, can we get your number? Or can we get a number to get a hold of your dad? And then we'll get a number from them. But that's just going to put them on their heels. These motherfuckers going to be like, all right, these motherfuckers know where we live now. You know, it's game over now. So either we produce and we start working this shit, our fuck is that they're at our personal home now. Do they own a restaurant? A restaurant, body shop, they have boats, Hugo has
That is a pretty bold move. That is a pretty bold move. And you heard Perico earlier saying when we were in Mexico, they could have smoked us. Well, I don't think that Perico understands that they could still smoke them in California. I mean, these are the real cartels. This is not a ragtag group of guys pushing, 10, 15, 20 keys. These are real cartel guys, right? They're real businessmen. I showed you a picture of a group setting in this very office where he's meeting with those very same cartel guys. Obviously, there's a lack of communication. Perico wants to force their hand. I think it's a bold move, but I think it's a threat, right? If I was the cartel guys, I would be precautious too. Mexican Mafia has a bad reputation for getting product and whacking people out, not even paying them. And this is not the cartel's forte in California. The cartels are strong in Mexico. Cartels are strong everywhere, but they don't wield the same juice in the United States that the Mexican Mafia does, particularly in California, because the Mexican Mafia controls the gangs. Cartels do not. They do not. It's just a different playing field, and it's a reality. Like in Mexico, they're whacking out carnales left and right. We're going to get into that in a whole different issue. I'm kind of tipping my hand here, but we are going to do a whole series on cartels and Mexican Mafia. And this is the beginning salvo right here.
about 30 cars, car show cars listed on their ends all the way around, combed out, all the way, shit that comes out of lowrider magazine. Well, my homie just got busted. You see that shooting that happened right there on TV? They say you hit now. The Norwalk? Yeah, that happened in my water. That's the one on the park side. Oh, is that what? Yeah, who would have shot somebody,
Did you hear Perico talking about his show car? That one of the guys has show car. And that's that. What did I tell you? A long time ago, you invite a carnal into your business or anywhere near you, it's cancer. He's going to want to take something. And they're already focusing on this show car.
They said you had a big indictment in Puente again. Again? For 32 people. For what? People. I don't know who the first big snatch is. 32 motherfuckers. I don't know who was the main one. Who did it have to do with it? I didn't see it. I'm going to try to Google it, motherfucker. Did they put Cisco in that motherfucker? I don't know. I'm curious. I don't think so, because he kind of like lost touch with his neighborhood. And they had all kinds of motherfuckers running around bad. When did they do that? It was about 3 days ago. You can pull it up on there. Yeah, I know there's so much to it later on. But I don't think there was any of maybe, I don't think he was, who knows who he got. Maybe Jericho from Bassett. He was the main one trying to control that whole fucking area. And so when he had his old lady running around on the main night, who knows. God damn, boy. Yeah, so anyways, they do. So I don't know how you want to play this. I'm ready. I mean, fuck the anyway. If they do what your kid is going to do, then fuck it, man. Like you say, snatch one of these motherfuckers up, man. They don't know, you're not running this like that. In this area. None of this kind of border. There's no question. The thing is, too, a lot of fellows they've been doing with us, that Vato don't know. Like they're sitting here, he's more, from what Freddie and Little told me, he's more like a political activist. Okay. All the failure he gives, everything he does, he throws at, they're trying to put people in the government, stuff. Yeah. He's kind of like the supports William, the the dude Marcos, so that was a black man. Oh, yeah, what the fuck was it? What the fuck was it? Zapatista, he's like that. That's where he throws money at. That's his yahe. You know what I mean? So,
he just mentioned Wolf. Wolf was one of the individuals who brought this together as well. This was an individual who was involved with Rube Soto, Mike Moreno, and a bunch of other brothers in the extortion of a distribution clinic for marijuana. He has ties to the cartels, and Perico Rocha just mentioned him right now because he was part of this also.
All these also manage a lot of all this shit on their own, just on like his money's right. You know what I mean? But he doesn't even really pay that much money because he got secretaries that run that shit. So as long as he has money when he wants money and do everything, you know, they're not gonna tell him every problem. You know what I mean? Just like homie they can tell us every problem. Yeah. So I think they're keeping a lot from him, and they kind of don't want us to see him because they know.
They just mentioned the Zapatistas, right? And that's not the ragtag prison gang they're talking about, right? Not the PC prison gang. That's not what they're talking about. They're talking about the real Zapatistas in Mexico, like revolutionaries. That's what they're talking about because Marcos, the individual they mentioned, is involved with them.
Because they know that it will be like, hey, you guys ain't keeping up to your end, and Freddie and Hugo will get smoked. Yeah, so they're worried about that. So they're bending over backwards to keep us away from there and try and pay us as long as they can, though. To try and get us. I tell you, they thought that we were going to be their drug dealers. Yeah, it was hard to hear. Doing that, breaking kids now, and sweating that yes, that money. And I told you, and I thought we thought like that about it because when we were here, when I sat with him that, whatever, a month and 2 months ago, and we sat there and he told me, because I told him, where's our failure? So we could go, we start moving forward. We need to send the now there's more money this side and the other, right? Yeah. So he's like, you know what, all right, he was on the phone with the boss. He goes, you know what, I'm going to go pick up whatever, 40 pounds in Merced up north. He goes, I'm going to come back. I already got a buyer for it. He goes, I'll give you your money like in give me 2 days. Let me go up there, get it tomorrow, come back, sell it, then I'll give it to you. I was like, Tuesday? He goes, I'll give you your money Thursday. I'm like, all right, please, man. And then when I was sitting there, come to find out he gave that money to the Yes Cartel. So I said, how are you going to give us the fucking Yes Cartel? He said you had it sold. Yeah. When you told me you had it sold, now you got this guy over here selling dope. And now you're putting him to pay you the money here. But that money that he, just like you told him, the money that you're going to pay, that we're going to give you, you're going to give us right back. Right? What the fuck? Yeah, so what the fuck?
Perico talks about a previous meeting where he met with the cartels and they agreed to bring in 40 pounds. I'll come back with episode 2 on this videotape series. Let me know what you think about this, folks. Drop a comment, hit the hype button, hit the thumbs up, subscribe. We're trying to get to that 100,000 mark by December. As always, stay safe. Have a nice day. I'm out. Peace.